Hey everybody, it's Sensei Mike at Kaizen Academy of Martial Arts. Today we're going to be going through the blue, high blue, and red belt curriculum, specifically the cycle where we go over the kama form. So if you're ready for it, let's go ahead and go over some of the kicks that you're going to be learning before you learn the kama form, and then run through the whole kata. So with that said, let's get started. All right, everybody, so the first new kick that we're going to be working on in this cycle is called the axe. All right, the axe kick is just like if you were chopping firewood. You're taking that axe, you're swinging it around in a semicircle motion until you reach the top, and then cutting straight down. That circular motion builds up momentum to the top until we're ready to strike down on the target. So our back leg is going to be the one doing this kick. So we're going to start with our right leg back and our guards are up. So the first thing I want to do is know which direction I'm going to bring the chop down. Now, if I have that target straight in front of me, I got two options. I can either swing my leg up this way and around or this side and around. So the way that I want to do this is an outward motion, and my front leg will tell me which way to start my swing, because that front leg is going to pivot. Just like how I start my back leg round kick with starting my pivot, I'm going to take that front foot and do the same thing. I'm going to open up my pivot, I'm going to move it to the side. Not only does this tell me that I need to start my swing on this side of the target, this is also going to open that leg up enough to give me room to kick that leg across, instead of just turning it here and I'm stuck in front of the other leg. So I'm going to start my pivot, open my body up. Now my toes are pointing in this direction, which means I start my kick swing in that direction, all the way around to above the target, and then chopping down with my heel. Boom. One more time, I start my pivot, toes point out, so that means I'm swinging over here first, around, and down with the heel. Now if I was to switch, it's the same thing. My right foot's in front of me, so I'm going to start my pivot, open up, and it's telling me I should swing over this side of the target with my left, around and down. One more time, I start my pivot, I swing, and I drop that heel down on my target. The next kick that we're going to be focusing on is the front leg hook kick. So a front leg hook kick, let's say I'm going to start with my right leg in front. I step up with the back foot. I'm sliding together and going into my pivot. From this position, my front leg chambers back like I'm going to throw a side kick. So this kick starts like a side kick. I pull the knee in, I lift that heel up, I get my toes sideways, except now I'm going to extend my leg out in a circular motion in front of the target and through. So I reach out with my leg in front of the pad or the target. I slice across from the hip, refolding behind me like a round kick, and then I can put it down. So again, the front leg hook kick starts like a side kick, finishes like a round kick, and the most important part is after you extend and that leg gets out in front of your target, you're using the hip to slice and hit with the heel. Once you hit with the heel, then you can pull that leg back. You don't want to pull your leg back to hit the target. You want to hit with the entire leg and then refold at the end. The refold has nothing to do with hitting the target. That's just what you do before you put the foot down. And you can also follow up with a round kick afterwards. So one more time, my front leg hook kick, I step up with the pivot. I chamber the front leg back like a side. I'm kicking out, across, refolding, and down. A little faster, I step up and hook kick across. The last big kick that we are working on is the tornado kick. This is a fun one. It's a jumping, spinning, switching, 360-degree crescent kick. So we call it a tornado kick for short. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your front foot, guards are up. The key to all the spin kicks that you're going to learn before black belt is taking that front foot and turning it toe to toe. Meaning I'm going to rotate my big toe of my front foot, my right foot, and I'm going to point it at the left foot. All right, not stepping back too far, keeping it right underneath me. Okay, that's going to get my body rotating in the right direction. Now for my tornado kick, I'm going to take the other leg and I'm going to lift my toes up and rotate as far as I can. From this position, I still need to get my body a little bit more to the front. So I'm going to lift this foot up and finish my rotation, pointing my knee at my target. Okay, once I get my body completely around, it's going to be a whole lot easier to jump and switch, throwing the crescent kick across my body. If I don't get that final rotation, my kick's going to start over here and finish before I even get to the target. My front foot turns toe to toe. My back foot rotates me around and lifts up. All the while, I finish rotating on the other foot. Get my body as squared up to the front as I can before I jump and switch, throwing that crescent kick, inward crescent kick, and landing in front of me. A little faster, a little smoother. Toe to toe, twisting and lifting, right into the jump. And the speed comes from taking out all those little pauses that you do in between each rotational move. So I turn, twist, lift, and kick in one motion. If I'm doing this with the left leg in front, I take that left foot now. I turn it toe to toe. I rotate the right foot around as much as I can. Lift up, squared up to the target. Jumping and doing the crescent kick in front of me. Left foot is in front. I go toe to toe. Rotating the right. Lifting when I get to the front. And on that lift, that's when I want to lift and jump smoothly into the kick. Now that we've gone through all the kicks that you're going to be learning in this cycle, let's go over the upper body techniques, specifically the chop, spin, chop, punch combination. Now this is something you're going to have to learn to do in every cycle when it comes to blue, high blue, and red belt curriculum. You're going to learn how to spin for the nunchucks. You're going to learn how to spin your body for the bow staff, but it's particularly important for the kama form because you're actually mirroring the same upper body moves you're doing with your chops and your punches, but with kamas in your hand. Okay, when you have nunchucks and bow staff, you're just kind of spinning around with the weapon in a different way, doing something different with your upper body. But the kamas, you're actually doing all the chops and punches you're doing when you practice open hand techniques. So let's go through that. So I'm going to start with my right leg into a front stance, so right leg forward, and whichever side is in front, that hand will always be on top. Now when I fold for a chop, my arms are folded together. Not like blocking where I fold one high, one low. I'm folding together, elbows straight. My top hand, which should be the front hand, will throw the chop. Just remember, top chop. So I chop out with the front hand as I bring my backhand to chamber. After I extend my chop, I switch to my punch. And that's an easy little chop punch right there. So I fold front hand on top, chopping out, and punching. Now to add the spin to it, I'm going to take the free hand, the one that's chambering. I'm going to bring it up to my ear, and like I throw my hammer fist, I'm going to reach across, turning my hand and slicing with the pinky side leading to chop to the neck. As I do that, my right leg, my same side, is going to step with me to turn my body sideways. That's going to get my body rotating in the right direction with the chop. My chop continues under the arm, very important. Chopping hand goes under the arm, by the armpit. I follow that hand around and spin the left leg now to the front. And if you notice, my left hand is on top. So now it's my left side's turn to chop and then punch with the right. So again, on the right side, right foot forward, right hand on top. Holding high, chop with the right, punch with the left. Right hand starts at the ear. I move the right foot across as I chop out to the neck, chambering the backhand. Arm goes underneath the left. I follow it around, spinning that left foot forward, landing into a front stance. Now my left side should be on top. If I did that right, I chop and I punch. Now I can go right into the other side. My left hand comes up and left foot steps across to do that inside chop, turning the hand over, hitting with the pinky side. Continues through and under the right arm as I follow the hand around, moving the right leg forward to my front stance, chopping and punching again on this side. And you can just continue that motion, 1, 2, on both sides. Chop, fold under, spin, chop, punch. It's time for the big chunk of your material, the kama form. So we're going to start with those kamas, both in the right hand. Take a little step back here. This form brings you to the front a lot, so make sure you got a lot of room to move forward. I start off in my attention stance. I bow, stepping out to position just like normal, but now I'm just going to say sir or ma'am, depending on who's teaching. The opening bow for this, I chamber both sides back, pinky on this side, commas flat on the other. I'm going to punch out, commas go horizontal, open the hand on top. At the same time I reach, boom. Chopping out to the side, lifting my hands up, separating the commas at the top, and slicing down to begin. My left side folds on top, so I step with the left foot forward, chopping and punching. Now I'm going to aim to the right side, holding that right hand on top. Chopping to the right, I pivot on the punch. Now I'm going to get that right hand ready to chop, so I'm going to pivot, turn forward, right side does a 7 chop, straight across and down at the angle. My left hand will fold on top for a block, so make sure your arms are open, and I block down. Notice how I pivot away from the block this time. I'm not staying in my front stance. I'm turning away to block the leg that's closer to my attacker over here before I pivot back, punch, hiya. Now from here, my punch is going to go on bottom, so I can step forward with the right foot, high block with the weapon, punch with the left. I have the kick combo now where I'm throwing the 3 kicks in a row, back leg axe, back leg round, tornado kick. All right, I'm going to take my left foot to start. I open up, start that pivot, drop the left axe in front of me. Pivot on the left side to throw the back leg round kick, landing toe to toe so I can turn right into the tornado kick on the right. I'm going to continue to spin out of that as I fold my left hand on top, landing the left foot forward for my chop and my punch. Now from here, very important, the punch folds on top. Before I step back with the left, now I'm set up to go chop punch right to left. My left arm folds and chops to the left side, and I'm going to pivot like I did in the beginning of the form into a 7 chop with the right hand. Big step forward with the right foot and punch with the left. From here, I'm going to adjust the right foot over as I chop in like I'm going to do my chop spin, but instead of folding to another chop punch, I'm going to fold and bring my left leg forward here into a double slice. So my left leg lands and both commas slice out. Here's your second hiya, by the way. Hiya. Let me adjust over. Okay, now from right here, my left hand is going to chamber. My right leg is going to step up into a back stance. My comma stays off to the side so I can turn it in and do an X chop. High to low. I step together to finish the X, high to low. Think of carving a big X. So in a back stance, I go 1, feet together, I go 2. Now I'm going to pivot and chamber to throw my hook kick, round kick combo. I'm going to take my right hand, chop when I land, folding under to spin, left foot lands in front, chop, punch. Now I do the other side, but this time instead of folding, I'm stepping on my first chop and I'm going to chamber both my hands. So after I chop with the left, I chamber both of them, so when my right leg lands in front of me, I finish with a double stab. Left foot steps forward, high X chop, and down the bow. All right, everybody, that is your material for the comma cycle. Practice at home the best you can, but make sure you get to class so that you can refine that technique, make sure everything is perfect in front of the instructors, and then use this video, like always, to practice at home in case you need a little extra help. Thank you, everybody, and this is Sensei Mike saying make sure you like, subscribe, follow the channel, follow all of our social media so you're up to date on when we're posting new videos and information, and we will see you at the studio.